All right, I'd like to call to order this April 23rd, 2018 meeting of the West Windsor Township Council. Have we been adequately noticed?
Yes, we were. We were noticed January 5th, 2018 to Trenton Times and to the Richmond.
Would you all join me in the salute to the flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have a ceremonial matter. We have the Mayor's State of the Township address. Mayor Marape.
And there's plenty of seats up front here, so come on down.
You all, like I was in school, never sat in the first row, no matter what. And I'm deaf and still never sat on the first row. So before I start, I'd like to acknowledge few special guests who are here. From Mercer County, Lucille Walters, who is the chairwoman of the Mercer County Freeholders, and Diane Jarofsky, who is the county surrogate. And I want to thank the county. County has been good working with. I have my friend Kamal Khanna and previous council president, and I saw
Hemant
Martin
Verlina.
Whitfield, the
And-
school board member.
Hemant,
Verlina just came in.
Assemblywoman Jackson.
Hi, Ms. Jackson. She is the newest appointed member of the New Jersey Assembly. Thank you for coming. And then from the township, we have Chief Garofalo, Lieutenant Lee, and our EMS in charge, Jim Yates. These are the important people you need to know. You don't need to know the mayor, you don't need to know the council. These are the people who get the work done. So, again, thank you everyone for coming. It's really a humbling experience that there's so many people who are interested in what I have to say. Of course, I have to bribe some of you to come here. Sharon Young, our township clerk, has reminded me since January 1st that I need to give this address. As a rookie mayor, I was always very apprehensive. When I mentioned it to my daughters, they rolled their eyes. They send you their sympathies. Even though this is my first township address, I find myself in a very familiar position, being watched over my shoulder by 7 women as I speak. At home, I have 6 others who do the job admirably. Don't worry, I got every word of this speech approved by my wife, my mother, and all my daughters. Last November, as I walked door to door, I heard a few concerns from citizens, and in return, made some specific promises to the residents of West Windsor. As mayor, I have tried to govern based on those promises. The first of those promises is to control growth the best I can. Toward that end, we continue to vigorously defend our township against an unreasonable affordable housing obligation. The original fair share housing legislation stipulated that in any given round, no township should be required to build more than 1,000 units. We have filed a motion with the court to cap our obligation at 1,000 based on that legislation. We hope and pray the court will agree with us as the legislation intended. However, if we don't prevail on that motion, we will be required to submit a plan for a full 1,500 units as stipulated by Judge Jacobson. Although we feel that it would be an undue burden on West Windsor, we will comply while pursuing all available legal avenues. To help mitigate the negative consequences of the increased housing development, we are pursuing commercial development at all sites along with the residential. Since the matter is in litigation and some negotiations are still ongoing, and since our lawyer is sitting here, I am unfortunately restricted in what I can say today. He's just watching what I can say. But please stay tuned. To reduce growth, we continue to aggressively purchase open space and get grants from the county and state to supplement our budget. Since I took office in January 1st, we have closed on 96 acres on North Post Road, have a contract to purchase 17 acres on Clarksville, and are in negotiation to purchase another 123 acres along Village Road. Since January 1st, the township has received $1,050,000 from the county and will receive under $260,000 pending approval of the grant agreement by the council. We will also receive $500,000 from New Jersey Green Acres pending approval by the council. And I want to thank again, county has been very appreciative, and they do send money on time, which is unusual for government. We will use this money to continue to acquire more properties to preserve open space. With regard to Howard Hughes' site, there is no change in status. We are currently performing the master plan review. As a part of that review process, we will decide if any change from the current zoning for the property is in the best interest of the township and the developer. Our second promise was to attract commercial ratables. Toward that end, I have met with owners of all large commercial properties in town and have had some encouraging discussions with other commercial development experts. Based on the collective feedback and to make it easier to expand an existing business or to start a new one, we are undertaking two initiatives, one operational and one procedural. On the operational level, this year's budget includes funds to move the permitting and inspection process from paper-based to electronic. Every inspector will get a tablet, which will improve both efficiency and service, making it quicker and easier for businesses to move through the inspection process. On the procedural level, I am recommending to the council that we replace the Site Plan Review and Advisory Board, popularly known as SPRAB, with a technical review committee. Many of our neighboring towns use such committee with great success. Some of you who work in private sector may wonder whether replacing a board with a committee will make any difference. However, if you are a developer, you will appreciate how this will significantly reduce expenses and speed up the approval and building process. I would like to tell all commercial developers that West Windsor is open for business. I would like to take this opportunity to thank two long-serving members of SPRAB, Alan Schachtel and Ted Bigan. Both of them have served the township for over 20 years in that position. Ted has indicated that he is ready to retire after serving on both the Environmental Commission and SPRAB since 1995. To ensure we don't lose all the experience, I have appointed Alan to the planning board. Finally, I would like to outline two initiatives in the hope of building a sense of community among all West Windsor residents. Last year during council debate, I proposed that we use the township-owned land near the municipal complex to build an indoor sports facility for the residents of West Windsor, since I have heard repeatedly that such a facility is needed. Some people thought I was suggesting it simply because I didn't like what was proposed for that site at that time. But to quote the great philosopher, Dr. Seuss, I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. My first initiative is to build an indoor sports and recreation facility on that track if it's determined to be feasible. I have already spoken to various sports groups, and at least one has expressed an interest in funding such a structure, and at least 5 others have expressed an interest of using such a facility on a rental basis if it exists. Currently, our kids have to go to neighboring towns to use their indoor facilities, and adults compete for available school gym space. In the coming month, I will appoint a committee with experts in various aspects of the project: sports, finance, architecture, construction, to understand the needs of each sports group and to determine whether this is financially feasible without using any taxpayer dollars. They will recommend what such a facility would encompass. I would request anyone who is interested in serving on such a committee to contact me. We are all fortunate to live in a great community. Sometimes when you are on Facebook or you attend council meeting, you may not feel that way, but we have a lot to be thankful for. We have many reasons to celebrate what we don't celebrate enough. This brings me to my second initiative, to annually pick one group or one non-profit in town and to celebrate them. As someone who drives almost 25,000 miles a year, the first people I'm mindful of are the police. I'm always watching out for them, and they are watching out for me. This year, the West Windsor Police will celebrate their 50th anniversary. I propose that the community come together to celebrate its success and raise funds that will be used for a specific project. Police Chief Garofalo has identified the need for a drone that can be used, among other things, to look up for a missing person, to speed up accident investigations, etc. He has assured me that the drone will not be used to write tickets, or far more important, to spy on me. I have appointed a committee which has been hard at work for the last couple of months, planning celebratory activities throughout the year. The committee is made up of Missy Pereira, Simin Said, Virginia Manzari, Christy, and I have a hard time pronouncing the last name, Kyriakopoulos. And one of my main criteria for choosing people for committees is if I can pronounce your name. So I don't know how Christy got past that. On the township side, they are being helped by Gay Huber, Ken Jacobs, Noreen Tenaglia, Mark Lee, Melissa Nagy, Daniel Lantham, Danny Moore, and Chief Garofalo. The committee will soon publish information about how you can help. This is a challenge to all of us to come together for a common purpose. And I see some of the committee members here, and I want to thank all of you. I hope all of you will actively participate in this celebration and support our New Jersey Chiefs accredited police department. When they reach out to you during their fundraising appeal, remember that charitable contributions are still fully tax deductible. This is your opportunity to exercise your government-given right to deduct with abandon. So please be very generous. I hope this becomes an annual tradition to celebrate our successes, and every year we do this. When I speak for so long, I always wonder if anybody is listening or paying attention. A few months back, I was reading how a human mind works. It said that in the first 24 hours of following a speech, most people forget 50% of what they have heard. In the next 24 hours, they forget 50% of the remaining. So the math wizards among you will tell you that it means you will retain only 25% of what you have heard here today. At the end of 72 hours, many of you will swear that you weren't even here today. So even if you forget everything else I have said today, please remember that the state of our township depends collectively on all of us. I have proposed some ideas that I believe will move West Windsor in the right direction. West Windsor has been a perfect place to raise my own family. My kids are out of school now, and I'm asking for your help to make it even a better place to not only to raise our families, but to grow old with our friends. Thank you again all for coming.
I know that many of you, understanding that the most important part of the meeting is over now, will want to leave. So we're going to wait a few minutes to let the room clear out before we have public comment.
You don't have to leave. We are going to vote on a budget. That has more impact on your taxes than whatever I said.
But there are fewer jokes in the budget.
Ask them, I'll acknowledge them when...
Is anybody else missed? Is that it? Just Ann? Allison could mention that.
You don't need to sign, just so you know that we've signed it. Today's date. So this is our copy. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for staying, and thank you also to another couple of freeholders who were kind enough to come here, and Canon and Pat Colavita. Thank you. Good to
Thank
see
you
you.
both for coming.
What's next on the agenda is public comment. Do we have anyone signed up?
I have Bob Murray.
You don't have to sign up beforehand, but you have to sign up afterwards, so we know who you are.
Thank you. Bob Murray, 20 Laurie Lane. And Mr. Mayor, that was an exceptional fine speech as to the state of the township. I'd like to focus tonight on the state of Birchwood Estates. Right now, we have not had any brush pickup since last year, in December. And we're almost in May. That means we've gone 5 months without brush pickup. We now have one-lane traffic in our community. And I know we have a lot of trees, but we have a significant amount of brush that needs to be picked up. And Marlena, I'm not criticizing the town at all. I know there's a lot of work out there to do, but I know we were already bypassed in March, and I'm not sure what reason, but we really need to get the brush cleaned up in Birchwood Estates and all of the rest of Zone 2. I compliment and admire everything the township is doing, and I have a great deal of respect for all the people that work in Public Works. Whatever you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time.
Tracy Sinatra? Oh, okay. Andrew Hirsch?
Andrew Hirsch, 16 Finley Lane. Thank you for having me. It's Hirsch. It's easy to say and pronounce, so hopefully I can serve on committees. Mayor, thank you for your speech. Of particular interest to me was the indoor field. Obviously, I have a son who's 12, a daughter who is 4, play in several leagues. I'm also a board member of the West Windsor Plainsboro Soccer Association, and I've spoken to various teams around. We spend a lot of money on other people's facilities, both outside the town, some inside this town. It is a major initiative that has been talked about within our board for a long time. It's the parents within the association widely support an idea like this. So we're really happy to hear you state it. For myself, and I can probably speak for the board and many of the families and say, thank you, we hope we can support you in this.
I don't have anybody else signed up. Does anybody else want to speak?
Come on.
Give your name and address at the podium.
Evening, my name is Dick Miller. I'm another Birchwood Court person. I'm not going to speak about the trash pick or the yard debris pickup. I'm going to speak just briefly about the deer situation in this town. We've lived here 30 years, and I think just in the last 5 to 10 years, the population of deer has become almost intolerable. Yesterday, we live on a 7/10 of an acre lot, and there were 15 deer on our property yesterday. Can't grow anything, they just eat it. Some towns in the area, I think, have some deer culling or deer reduction plans and activities. I don't know what's possible, what's allowed, but I think it's a serious thing that we've got to get to. Property damage is an issue, and in some cases, it causes car accidents and even people to get hurt. So I think that should be a high priority. Thank you all.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good evening, named Ying Chao YZ Zhang, 3 Fantasy Lane. I just follow my neighbor's comment. Andrew is my neighbor. Andrew Hurts. We live on the same street. So just one thing that I guess we're all facing is the affordable housing, which is probably arguably the biggest challenge facing the town. I want to commend on the Township for the appealing plan to hire the EC consultant, and hopefully we'll be able to have a better number at some point in time. So I just want to say that I really appreciate, and also I guess we'll have to get the number and also listen to the public's responses as well at the same time. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, administration comments.
I have several. With respect to yard waste, debris collection, our DPW crews will be finishing up in Zone 1 and will be coming to Zone 2. They'll finish Zone 1 tomorrow and we'll move on to Zone 2. We realize we are behind schedule. We appreciate your patience and understanding. There's been a tremendous volume of debris as a result of 4 nor'easters, and in between the nor'easters, the crews shifted from yard debris collection, then back to snow plowing and the like. We will do our best. Public Works has been working overtime after 3 p.m., and they have been working overtime on certain holidays and on Saturdays. So thank you for bringing it to my attention, and please feel free to reach out to me if you're still dissatisfied. Our crews are doing the best that they can, and again, I want to thank you for your patience and understanding. The next announcement I'd like to make has to do with the Cranberry Road Sidewalk Project. Phase 1A and Phase 2A work located between Princeton Heightstown Road and Stobie Lane began on or about April 11th. The project includes, but is not limited to, tree removal, grading, installation of curb sidewalk with ADA handicapped ramps, and retaining walls where necessary. The sidewalk is being constructed as a porous asphalt sidewalk in lieu of concrete in order to comply with stormwater management regulations promulgated by the Department of Environmental Protection. Contractors from A-Team Concrete have begun construction in Phase 1 between Princeton Heightstown Road and Sunnydale. Discover Construction will begin undertaking preparatory work in Phase 2A between Sunnydale and Stobie Lane the week of April 23rd. The present estimate for overall project completion is approximately 60 to 75 working days, weather permitting. Delays are to be expected while the work occurs in terms of traffic flow. Please honor all posted temporary traffic control measures for your own safety and the safety of others. This is one of the more popular events in the township. On Saturday, May 19th, at the Township of West Windsor Public Works facility, 70 Southfield Road, West Windsor, will be our first dumpster drop-off day for 2018. There'll be a second dumpster drop-off day on September 15th. Residents of West Windsor are able to participate in this program at no charge. Proof of residency is required. Drop-off only. One of the more popular attractions is the shredding truck, which is on site from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Items for shredding include all types of paper, manila folders. It's okay to leave paper clips, staples, and rubber bands on. We will place a limit of 10 boxes bags because of the popularity of the shredding truck. The shredding truck fills up rather quickly. Some acceptable items that can be dropped off are propane tanks, tires, bicycles, appliances, furniture, electronics, wood fencing, metal, car batteries, and electric wire. Electronics cannot be in bags or boxes. And residents will also have the opportunity to drop off yard debris, which would end promptly at 2:00 p.m., but I would imagine there's so much yard debris that you don't want to load your car up, so we'll have our crews take care of that. That is Saturday, May 19th. And then, if posted on the township website under current news, there is a community health needs assessment that is underway for Mercer County, and the residents are encouraged to participate by taking a survey that is available online. That survey is in partnership with the Greater Mercer Public Health Partnership. There is a link directly for the survey under the current news section of the township website. And if you're unable to obtain that survey online and complete it online, paper copies of the survey can be picked up at the municipal building, senior center, or health departments. West Windsor Community Day. The second annual West Windsor Community Day celebrating unity is sponsored by the West Windsor Recreation Department and the religious leaders of West Windsor. It will be held Saturday, May 12th, noon to 4:00 p.m., Duck Pond Park, Meadow Road, West Windsor. The theme is celebrating unity. Admission is free. It's a day where friends, family, and neighbors will celebrate the unity and diversity of West Windsor. The day will feature food, information about our community, games, rides, and activities. The organizing group is looking for local organizations, business owners, and others to join us. There's more information on how these organizations can join the event online under current news on the township website. That's all I have.
Feels like I just spoke for 10 minutes, but one thing she missed is this Saturday, there's a prescription drug drop-off, April 28th at the police department between 10 and 1. And even if you miss it, you can drop off prescription drugs at police at any time during the year and 24/7. I mean, they are open 24/7, so you can drop off, but there's a 10 to 1, they will be there. You don't have to even get off from your car. Just drive up, they will take no questions asked, and that's a very useful program. And I'll just like to point out on 3 items on the agenda. There's R111, which is improving our HVAC and lighting system, helping the environment, and then there are 2 items, 116 and 117, finally replacing our roofs of this building and roof of the volunteer fire department. We've been trying to do it for too long, so once we replace those roofs, then we'll start the modifications of the internal of the building. So we have managed to, those 2 items are on the agenda, and as soon as the council approves it, we'll start meeting with the contractor and the work.
Thank you. Council member comments. Today we start with Jyotika.
Thank you. Hello. As council members, our primary and foremost responsibility is to West Windsor's constituents. And with that in mind, my council colleague, Virginia, and I have used our collective business acumen to make recommendations to administration about improving the budgeting process and making it more efficient. We believe the budgeting exercise should be a collaborative one between administration and council, with both working together towards a minimal impact on the tax levy for the year. We hope to discuss our proposed recommendations with other council members at a council meeting in the near future. I believe there's a discussion on New Jersey's affordable housing situation tomorrow in this very room. In view of the recent judgment on the affordable housing obligation that has issued a much higher number to West Windsor than anticipated, the Honorable Assemblywoman Holly Shapisi will be talking about the current situation and what it means for towns like West Windsor and Princeton. This is a challenging issue for our town in view of the infrastructure impact on increasing development as well as the impact on our school district, and we have to put our heads together to come up with a solution. Legislators from all around Mercer County were invited for the meeting. I'm not sure how many are coming, but Assemblywoman Holly Shapisi will be there. I encourage residents to attend this very useful educational meeting tomorrow from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Your Child's Brain, Keeping It Healthy, is a group discussion organized by West Windsor Plainsboro Community Education in collaboration with an organization called Attitudes in Reverse, about how to understand the signs of youth mental health and better ensure student success, something which is of interest to all parents. The program will also include what happens if stress becomes overwhelming for preteens and teens. This program is appropriate for parents and kids 6th grade and up. Please do come and attend this valuable event on Wednesday, April 25th from 7 to 9 p.m. at Grover Middle School. Better When Together, a discussion for moms on challenges and opportunities for raising our kids and civic engagement, hosted by the African American Parent Support Group at the West Windsor Arts Center, is on Friday, April 27th from 12 to 1 p.m. I attended the Food Truck Fest sponsored by the High School North and South Post-Prom Committee this past Saturday. It was a really fun event with very interesting and tasty food choices, upbeat music, kids games, an absolutely great day to be outdoors. Thank you.
Thank you. Aisha?
I have nothing, thanks.
Linda?
Yeah, tomorrow night, the governing bodies of both West Windsor and Plainsboro will be having our annual dinner with the West Windsor Plainsboro School Board. They gave us a courtesy review of the budget. And for the public, at 7:30 tomorrow night at Village School, the board administrators will present the school budget. So if that's something that also interests you too, please go and listen to that budget presentation from the school board. I did email Dr. Adderhold this afternoon. So there's been a lot of discussion about aid, school aid, particularly this hold harmless clause where some districts get the same amount of aid from year to year even though their enrollment is going down, and I don't think that's fair because we're usually in a situation where our enrollment is going way up. And that's something that I think legislatively needs to be corrected. So we'll talk a little bit about that, and I've asked them whether they believe we're getting the right amount of aid based on formulas, and if not, what that amount is. And I think we should be more aggressive, whether it's the school board or council doing a resolution, sending it to our legislators to address this inequity. Potholes. Spring has sprung, and you might be noticing potholes, coming up all over town. I guess, Ms. Schmid, if anyone sees potholes, they go on the municipal website, there's a place to click on, and, yeah.
If residents go onto the municipal website, if they scroll down all the way towards the bottom right-hand corner, there's a triangle, and that's where they can click on and report pothole
Right.
conditions.
Okay. And while this morning there was breaking news about a new royal baby, we also had some exciting news here. So Ms. Young became a grandmother for the first time. Her daughter and son-in-law gave birth for Paul.
Very exciting.
So we're very excited for you.
Yes, thank you.
That's good. All right, that's it for me.
Virginia?
Congratulations, Sharon.
Thanks.
So I was super excited to see the sidewalk construction the other day. My daughter thought it a little weird that I was so excited over sidewalks, but it's been a long time in the works, and I knew that people who live on Cranberry Road would be very relieved, very excited about it, so thank you, Marleta, and thanks to everybody else in the township who's worked hard to make that happen. When I ran for council, I wanted to take a proactive approach to identifying problems and finding solutions to those. And one thing that has consistently bothered me is on the website, when you go to look at different boards and committees that you can volunteer for, it's hard to tell what those groups do. So there are a couple, Parking Authority, I think, and Rec Commission, that have written sort of extensive explanations of what those committees and boards do, but the rest don't. Some of them don't have any explanation at all. So I took it upon myself to write up explanations of what those groups do, and what I'm going to do is then forward those to the chairs for their input, and I'll copy all of you on that as liaisons to those boards and committees. And then when we get all of the feedback from those people, then I'll make sure that that gets updated on the website. So I know that the mayor has really wanted to foster a lot more community involvement, and I think we'll get a lot more people who are willing to volunteer for something when they know what they're volunteering for. And then finally, I just wanted to talk briefly about the police department's 50th anniversary. As the mayor said, we have a really great group of people that has been working on a plan for events for the rest of the year, and we are definitely looking for more volunteers. So we will post something about that on the website soon, and also on Facebook. But if you're interested in volunteering, please reach out to us at wwpd50th@gmail.com. So that's wwpd50th@gmail.com. And let us know that you're interested in volunteering. We'd love to help. 50 years is a big milestone, and these events will give us an opportunity to, gather as a community, to celebrate our phenomenal police department, and to raise money for some important rescue equipment. So stay tuned for more information on those events. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't want to repeat anything that anyone has said, but nobody's mentioned Arbor Day, which is Saturday, April 28th, at 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're all invited. It's on the Township website, and there should be musical entertainment as well as a discussion of how we need trees and how beneficial they are to the community. And there's an art contest, and prizes will be awarded in categories depending on the age of the students participating. So don't miss Arbor Day at the Arboretum. How appropriate, on April 28th. I don't want, everybody's said everything else about all the other events that are coming up, so I won't say any more. Sharon, do you have anything to add, except, of course, congratulations That's the baby that matters to us here.
Thank you. Matters a lot to me, too. Thank you very much. The only thing I wanted to add was that we have a notice placed on the Township website for council vacancy, so if you're interested in running for the vacancy, give the clerk's office a call. We'll take your information, prepare petitions, and that will be on the November election, and we will fill the vacancy until the remainder of the term, which would be next December 2019.
Thank you. We now come to public hearing for our budget presentation. Over to our CFO.
First item is the cap ordinance.
Mike's off. Have to-
The first public hearing is on the ordinance to exceed the
Thanks for
municipal
coming.
budget appropriation limits and to establish a cap bank. This ordinance pertains to the budget appropriation cap and serves as a planning tool for subsequent years' operating budgets. The ordinance must be introduced or adopted prior to the adoption of the 2018 municipal budget. The Director of the Division of Local Government Services has established that the 2018 annual budget shall be limited to a 2.5% cap increase on the amount of the budget subject to cap. Local government cap law provides an increase to 3.5% by ordinance. Adoption of this ordinance permits $283,000 increase in final appropriations, which will be retained as a cap bank for the 2019 and/or 2020 budgets. The proposed budget includes $29,124,862.75 subject to cap, and the cap calculation is in your budget document sheet 3B1A. So you can
Okay.
open your public hearing.
All right, then. Is there anybody who wishes to come forward and say anything about the budget? Mr. Church.
This would be
This is
on
just
the-
for the...
I was wondering if you were going to get up.
Mr. Church, this is just comments on the actual ordinance.
Just on the ordinance, yes, I can talk about the budget at the next piece of the meeting. It won't be that long. Thank you. John Church, 11 Princeton Place. This year, I'm pleased to say that I fully support the cap bank ordinance. In past years, I have not supported it from time to time. This year, I do support it because I know that we may have very high expenses coming up in the future regarding affordable housing and maybe a few other things. So, with my best wishes, please pass this ordinance. I think we will be needing it in the future, and so go to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari? Yes. Miller?
Yes. Okay. Do we have a motion to pass the cap ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Do we need any discussion? I didn't think so. Could we have a roll call vote?
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari? Yes. Miller?
Yes. Okay, now it discusses the municipal budget. We now have the public hearing on the budget itself, but do you have a presentation
I have a
first?
presentation and some procedural items to discuss with council, and then you can go into the public hearing. So the total introduced municipal budget is $40,726,221. The operating expense portion is $26,829,198, or 66% of the total budget, which is a 1.86% increase over last year. Salaries and wages total $13,897,023, or 34% of the total budget, which is an increase of 2.17% over last year, which funds 169 full-time employees and 15 part-time employees, a total of 184. The budget increased by 1.96% compared to last year's $39,942,000. Public safety continues to represent the largest portion of the municipal budget at 20.46%. This includes police, fire, and first aid services. Insurance comprises 14.16% of the budget and includes liability, workers' compensation, employee benefits, and unemployment insurance. Statutory expenses include social security expenses, the public employees retirement system, the police and fire retirement system, and the reserve fund collected taxes represent 12.75% of the budget. Debt service represents 12.73% of the budget, which includes principal and interest on capital projects, as well as the 5% down payment requirement for projects to be authorized in 2018. Annual service charges to the Stony Brook Regional Sewage Authority make up 7.57% of the budget. The Department of Public Works represents 5.69% of the budget, which includes road maintenance, snow removal services, and maintenance of the sanitary sewer system, parks, and open space facilities. Residential refuse and recycling collection and disposal costs represent 5.65% of the budget. Utility expenses, including electricity, natural gas, telephone, street lighting, water, gasoline, and postage, amount to 4.95%. All other township departmental budgets, including community development, administration, health and human services, deferred charges, clerk, township council, law, municipal court, and grants combined, total 16.04%. The amount to be raised by taxation for municipal purposes is $25,075,430, representing nearly 61.57% of the revenue needed to support the 2018 municipal operating budget. Local revenues totaling $5,689,838, or 13.97% of the budget, include licenses, fees and permits, municipal court fines and costs, interest and costs on taxes, interest on investments and deposits, revenue from sewer service charges, rent from post office lease, sewer connection fees, hotel occupancy tax, and the township's agreement with developer Diversified for police services. The use of fund balance to support the budget in the amount of $4,225,000 denotes 10.37% of the budget. Energy tax receipts from the state of New Jersey remain flat since 2010 at $2,190,039 and are 5.38% of the budget. Other special items of revenue totaling $1,597,282 and 3.92% of the budget include Uniform Fire Safety Act revenue, reserve for township rental property, assessment trust fund balance, parking authority available surplus funds, other trust fund reserve for municipal share of developer escrow, cable television franchise fees, parking authority mutual agreement fee, Princeton University agreement, and ambulatory services fee from third-party billing company. Uniform construction code fees at $1.2 million are 2.95% of the budget. Receipt from delinquent taxes are $525,000 and 1.29% of the budget. Shared service agreements with the Parking Authority, Robbinsville Township, and Heightstown Borough totaling $212,410 are 0.52% of the budget. And there's a grant from the state of New Jersey from drunk driving enforcement in the amount of $11,221, represents 0.03% of the budget. The municipal tax levy, as mentioned earlier, is $25,075,430. That's a 4.69% increase over last year. The total assessed valuation that was certified a couple days ago is $6,159,290, and that is an increase of 0.26% over last year. The average residential assessment is $521,719. The municipal tax rate, based on the above, is 41.8, which is a 1.8% increase, with the increase in the...
1.8 cent increase. That's what you said.
1.8 cent increase.
You said percent.
Okay.
Sorry.
Which we are pleased to say rounded down with the certification of the assessments. So the average residential household municipal tax is $2,180.
That's municipal.
That's just the municipal.
That's the municipal. That's what you're voting on today. And that's an increase of approximately $94. So in a couple of minutes, you'll be able to open up your public hearing. It will be on the introduced budget. You will open it, comments will be made, and then you'll close it. The council will be asked to approve an amendment which is required by the Division of Local Government Services. We were under state review this year, and there was an item related to the Heatherfield Sewer Assessment Bond Principle that needs to be moved. So I think it's page 7 of your budget is the resolution. After the public hearing is closed, you'll be asked to approve that amendment, and then council will deliberate and hopefully adopt. Since we are under state review, it is highly recommended that the council adopt the budget as amended by the recommendation of the state. Any further amendments will require further state review, so you will not be able to finally adopt tonight if there are any other amendments on the table. So I'd like to introduce Bill Antonides, registered municipal accountant, who is available, as am I, after your public hearing to answer any questions that the council may have in their deliberations for adoption. So I'll turn the meeting back to Council President, who can open the public hearing.
Okay. So then, is there any member of the public who wishes to talk about the budget? Mr. Church.
Okay, thank you once again. John Church, 11 Princeton Place. First of all, I just want to express my appreciation to both the administration and council for all their very hard work in working on the budget. I know it's a really tough job. You look at your own household budget, you think that's tough. Look at a municipal budget, that's about how many times tougher than that. So my sincere thanks to all of you for your work on this. Just a few comments. At the very end of the budget, there's a kind of a large item called a deferred unfunded capital, and it refers to some previous bond ordinances that were adopted some years ago that, as best as I can determine, did not appropriate quite enough money for what they needed to do. Now, whatever the reasons for that were, I can't say, But right now, we're asked to, the council is being asked to include a fairly large item in the operating budget, which alone would account for about a penny of the tax increase. So just the question I would have, and maybe you can address that at the right time, is, and I've asked this question at the budget work sessions, is it really necessary to put this on the taxpayers this year, or could it not be actually bonded for future use, because it does involve capital projects? So I think we need a little explanation on that. So basically, that's all the comments I would have on the budget. I know it's a tough job, and again, appreciate all the work you did on that. So if the administration and/or council could just enlighten the general public on why we are doing it this way and hitting the taxpayers this year with roughly a penny increase, rather than bonding it again, rebonding it or whatever, and spreading it out, amortizing it over some years. So that would, I think the general public might appreciate an explanation of why it's being done this way instead of the other way. So basically, that's all I have to say at this time, so thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Joanne, would you like to address that?
You should continue with your public hearing, and then we can go over.
Very
things
well.
like
Anyone else?
Andrew Hirsch, 16 Finley Lane. I have not done the scrubbing that Mr. Church has done in the past on this particular budget, but as an insurance guy who doesn't do municipal insurance, for the record, but it pains me to see 14% of the budget, I think it was 14, going to insurance costs. I know a lot of that's probably healthcare raises, but it just raises an age-old question that I've had, and that's, when's the last time we've competed, if not the broker, then the insurance company behind the broker, whether it be healthcare, whether it be liability or others, with respect to the attorneys in the room, attorneys, other services in the room, so that we can drive down the underlying expense that drives that rate increase. And I assure you that in any negotiating that the township does, where you're trying to bring competition into the competitive process, you will reduce the underlying expenditure, especially if it hasn't been done in quite a few years. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one else who wishes to comment, we can close the public hearing. Do I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Second. Roll call vote?
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Joanne, can you address Mr. Church's comment, please?
Certainly. The township will be selling bonds later this year. The budget provides for roughly 5.4 million in debt service. The debt service principals and interests have been declining, so to keep that placeholder in the budget so that there are no spikes in the budget when we do go to sell, we pay off projects through the current fund. So last year, there was a smaller deferred charge. The same amount of budget is provided, whether it's through bond principal, bond interest, or deferred charge. We're at $5,475,000. So it's really just a placeholder for the new bonds that will be issued. So whenever you issue bonds, principal and interest goes up, so that we're not creating spikes in our budget. And that's been the policy.
For some years.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any comments from council about the budget? Anyone want to amend it or try to, so that we can not pass it today?
No, but I just want to...
You do have to amend the directors, so whenever you want to take
Yeah,
that
I'm
motion.
just asking if we want, because it's, first we have the budget here, the budget vote, and then the amendment pending state review, or do we have to have that one first?
You have to amend the budget per state review,
Before we pass it?
and then you make a motion to adopt.
Okay. So why don't we have a motion on the resolution R-119, which is authorizing amendment to the operating budget per state review?
Well, Linda, did you have something you wanted to say there, or can I?
No, I was just going to make a general comment, nothing,
Well,
want me to make it?
no, well, why don't we do this
Yeah,
first, and then...
right, yeah. Okay.
I assumed that there might be comments. So let's, do we have a motion on R-119?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's have a roll call vote on this, that we're doing per state review.
Marie?
Yes.
Chevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. And now I think that we should go to council comments on the budget. So, Linda, you're
No, I just wanted to say this, our budget process has been very open from year to year. We meet generally during the day because all of our professionals are here, but sometimes we have budget discussions in the evening. We do go live on TV. We also tape those budget meetings, and we rebroadcast them. And certainly, if anyone along the way has any questions, they can certainly talk to any of us, the mayor, Ms. Schmidt, or any of our administrators. So we try to keep it as open a process as possible. Some of the increases over last year, I know the group insurance, I believe last year was over $300,000 increase. This year, for 2018, the group insurance alone is $434,000 increase, okay? Salary and wages, $294,804, so that's nearly $300,000. It's contractual. Social Security system, $47,000, and then there are several other items. So it does add up quickly. At the end of this year, all of our collective bargaining contracts are up, and so negotiations will begin probably late December or early next year. So group insurance, health insurance, it is a big deal, and it's very costly, so we will continue. We have a new mayor to see what can be done to reduce those costs. Not easy, but I think it's something that we have to look into, and our employees are also contributing too, so everybody has a little skin in the game on that issue. And, that's it.
Okay, anyone else? Aisha? Virginia? Jodica? No comment. I just want to comment, following what Linda said, that insurance costs, especially health insurance costs, are going up for everyone, not just West Windsor Township, not just the people who work here, but for everybody who lives here. And I think it's a problem that's bigger than West Windsor, and I hope it gets solved. I know we are trying to be sensible and contain those costs, and I think that's the way everyone in the whole country feels. So we're not alone. And I have no other comments. Anybody, do we have a motion to adopt the budget?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Why don't we have a roll call vote?
Marie?
Yes.
Chevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay, thank you, everybody. We've done it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Linda, for your... Thanks for the applause, thanks for the appreciation, thank you for your comments about our openness. We certainly
you.
have tried, and we have a budget. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is a public hearing for an ordinance to amend and supplement, as Sharon will tell you.
Ordinance 2018-14 is an ordinance to amend and supplement Chapter 152, Streets and Sidewalks of the Township Code of the Township of West Windsor.
The import of this is that people will not just be obliged to maintain sidewalks, but to maintain retaining walls on public right-of-ways in front of their property. And our Assemblywoman just left. Thank you for coming. And sorry, Sharon, when I was council president in 2001, it was my job to read that. I lost a few years here. So do we have anybody in the public who wants to talk about this ordinance in the public hearing? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Do we have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second. Second.
Roll call vote?
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Consent agenda.
Resolution 2018 R109 is authorizing the release of inspection escrow fees to Pulte Group, Inc. for the elements at West Windsor, which is PB 04-01. There's the minutes from March 26, 2018, closed session as amended, and bills and claims.
Anyone want to remove anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to pass the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Bree?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yep.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Recommendations from administration.
Gotta scoot down for this one. Resolution 2018 R110 is authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute a contract extension with the e-consultant for post-trial services related to affordable housing, and the cost for that is $20,000. Resolution 2018 R111, authorizing the mayor and the chief financial officer to pay the matching funding to Tri-State Light and Energy for lighting and HVAC upgrades to the Township, Municipal Building, Police and Court, Fire and Emergency Services, and the Princeton Junction Firehouse buildings under the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities Direct Install Program, and that is for $42,158.87. Resolution 2018 R112, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute Green Acres Project Agreement Number 12 with the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, which will increase the grant funding received by $500,000. Resolution 2018 R113, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute a professional service agreement with ACT Engineers for construction, administration, and observation services for the roadway improvements at Meadow Road project, and that is for $26,725. Resolution 2018 R114, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute a contract with Earl Asphalt Company for the roadway improvements at Meadow Road project, and that is for $265,913.13. Resolution 2018 R115, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute a contract with Munn Roofing Corporation for the municipal building roof replacement project, and that is for $373,600. Resolution 2018 R116, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a contract with Life Roofing LLC for the Princeton Junction Volunteer Fire Station roof replacement, and that is for $141,564.52. Resolution 2018 R117, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute the contract amendment number 2 with Spiesel Architectural Group for supplemental work and observation services for the roof replacement of the municipal building and Princeton Junction Volunteer Fire Station. Total cost $36,400. Resolution 2018 R118, authorizing the mayor and the clerk to execute an amendment to the Mercer County Water Quality Management Plan for properties in West Windsor Township.
Anybody want to pull anything?
I had a quick question on R117.
Okay. Why don't you ask it quickly, then?
Yep. So Marlena, I was just noticing that R117 is sort of appropriating a little bit more than we did the last time around for increased inspections, the roof inspections. And we had one inspection built in, one per week, and now it's going to potentially 3 or 4 per week. Could you just tell me a little bit about why that increase? I'm not objecting to it, I just want to understand why we feel like these contractors need that much supervision.
Well, I think in the past, a perfect example is the firehouse roof, which is we have to replace the one we have. And it's my understanding, I wasn't here at the time that the original firehouse roof was put on, but my understanding is the role of our construction department is to perform inspections, not to observe the contractors and not to, do field observation work. My experience with roofs, if they are not, you want to make sure that the work is being done according to the architectural plans that are drawn up. And we're highly recommending that these services be retained so that the contractor is well aware that we are paying attention to what is going on. Unfortunately, we don't have an in-house person outside of the construction area who can provide those services.
No, I think that's perfectly reasonable. I'm not objecting.
Let me say, see, original plan was to have limited inspection, so somebody will observe for few hours this building, somebody will observe for that building. Especially the firehouse roof is a little tricky because it's been very old and we suspect there may be some issues underneath. So what this provides is a 100% inspection all the time. Every time somebody's working, somebody will be standing there making sure that the way they are putting the roof is proper and nothing is just pushed under the roof and ignored.
Well, I guess that just raises a question for me. I recently had my roof redone, and as you correctly state, I'm a layman when it comes to roof repair, and I certainly wasn't out there observing them, right? So what you do have is an opportunity to have a punch list after the inspection is done, and you have an opportunity, presumably, to have a bond, right, to ensure
Absolutely.
that the work is done well. So I'm just wondering why we're going with this sort of belt and suspenders approach. It was just, it seems excessive to have a watchdog when you went with the lowest responsible bidder.
My experience...
But the inspection would be after the fact, after the roof is put in.
Right, but then the repair, if it's shoddy workmanship, is at their expense, not ours.
Within a certain period of time, because we are expecting the firehouse roof to have challenges because it's very old and there were other problems that were noticed with the roof. That's why they felt it safer to have somebody look while the roof is being put on. I mean, the inspector just makes sure that the way our inspector will make sure that the roof is put on correctly. But we do expect some other issues with the roof, especially the firehouse roof.
So we're not planning this kind of oversight for all of our township projects, are we?
That's a judgment call. I mean, that's a judgment call that the township engineer made that, and then the firehouse people made that. For this particular project, we do need somebody to make sure that it's done properly. You're right.
We want to make sure that this is a common problem with public construction projects. You get the lowest responsible bidder, but as was explained a couple of weeks ago, the majority of the work gets paid for up front. And what we want to avoid is some contractors collect the majority of their money up front because the work is progressing, but there are some contractors, from my experience, that tend to slack off.
But that's not, in these cases, we're not concerned that we're paying them a bulk up front and that they're not going to do a good job.
No, but they're going to make sure the job is properly staffed because we want to hold them to a very tight time window to get the job done, and it's in our interest as well as the contractor's best interest to complete the job. The work that we've had to put Band-Aids and do triage over at the fire department for the past few winters. And the other concern is with the dampness that has possibly resulted because of some of these weather events we had. We want to make sure that the work is being done in a workman-like fashion in accordance with the specs.
So I'm not objecting on
You're
this
right, I
one.
mean, this, you can do this for every township project. It's just a
I
judgment.
just prefer we don't. I
yeah.
would prefer we don't, and I
Right,
would
right.
prefer then that we are paying more attention to the responsible part of the lowest responsible bidder. I'm not objecting to this one. I
No,
just,
no,
want to make sure that we're not then doing belt and suspenders for every project.
No, that's why, I mean, that's why originally it wasn't bid like that. Originally, that's why you have this motion on the, I mean, resolution on the agenda. Originally, we didn't think we needed
And
that.
that's what raised the issue. We're going from one inspection a week to 4 potentially.
It's,
We
somebody
just
did-
have not had a good track record with the roof, especially over at the firehouse. And I know that you, as the public safety liaison, I'm sure, have heard about the concerns.
I don't disagree. I'm just,
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
this
I got
was
the
a
point.
judgment call made, and we won't do this for every project.
Yeah, I think, how old is this roof? Original, 30 years or so?
Yeah, I believe so, and there are a lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
No, the firehouse was not built 30 years ago.
No.
Yeah, but the roof that was,
The roof.
my understanding, the roof that was constructed on a Sunday. When does public work, especially on a public building, get done on a Sunday?
No, I understand that. I'm just commenting that that building did not exist 30 years ago, so it's not the age of that roof. It's the
Well-
problems with the way it was originally constructed.
And that's exactly.
We're being better safe than sorry.
We're being
because
proactive.
Sorry could be very, very sorry indeed.
Right. And I think an extra set of eyes in this case for the roof, because if the roof goes, so does the rest of the building. It has to be done right, and there's severe leaks. You can look right up here. Rain was coming down on one meeting on me. It wasn't even raining outside, I should say, it's just
Well,
water coming
this
down.
roof is older. This
So,
roof is more.
I mean, you
than-
just look all over. When you take off a roof, you may find other problems,
Yeah.
hopefully not structural problems, but you don't know. And if something comes up, in this particular case, you have an architect that's there that can address some of these issues, so.
yeah, just to be clear, I'm not objecting to the roof repair. I'm not even objecting to the architect. I'm just cautioning that we should not be approaching every project this way.
This is
The mayor
an,
got it, and we...
this is an anomaly.
Yes, and this is also kind of retrofitting because we're replacing older roofs on existing buildings. It's not the same as new production. And if there are surprises, as everybody mentioned, we would like to have an extra pair of eyes on the surprises because there have been experiences with other contractors and surprises that were not happy experiences. So,
And we're taking out the sunroofs.
yeah. We're taking out the sunroofs?
Yes.
Okay.
Of
So
this
that will,
building.
that will make a
Yes.
difference when it comes to leaks.
Yeah.
So,
And that's another
Major
reason
impact.
why I think it's good to have an extra set of eyes and ears.
yeah, so if there are any surprises, they will be discovered by more than one set of eyes. So, do I have a motion for the recommendations from administration? That's are 110, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18.
So
Move to
moved.
approve. Second.
Roll call vote?
got you.
Marie?
Yes.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Hamilton?
Yes.
Manzari?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay, we have no introduction of ordinances. Additional public comment, anyone? Mr. Church.
You need to sit closer.
John,
to
if
the
I charge you
microphone.
$5 every time you make public comment, my budget problem is solved.
Don't I wish, yeah. Okay, thank you again, John Church, 11 Princeton Place. I do appreciate what Ms. Hamilton just said about inspections, and I'm just wondering, don't we have our own inspectors inspect this roof? I know whenever commercial buildings are built...
After the fact, they inspect
Well,
after
yes,
the fact.
inspect after the fact, but they make sure that they do it right. Now, so after this fact, we'll still have our own township inspectors inspect it after the thing is finished. I assume so.
Our inspectors will be periodically inspecting to ensure that the work is being done in accordance with the uniform state construction code.
Right. And that's on top of what Spiesel is going to do.
Right.
Okay, so we should wind up with a first-class roof, hopefully, after all these years.
I hate roof
Yeah,
projects.
roofs are tricky. And we also, as I've seen around my own neighborhood, we get inspections when the roads are done. There's a person that comes around and looks and sees if the road is done. Personally, I'm not always real happy with the quality of the road work. I'm sorry to have to say that, but I know we always have to get the lowest responsible and bidder and all that. It's always a problem when you have work done with government projects. The lowest bidder isn't necessarily going to do the best work. Now, they'll do a minimum quality of work. The road will be okay for a while, but sometimes, and we can't do this in government, but sometimes if you're your own house, you might be well advised not to get the lowest bidder to replace a furnace or whatever. In government, it's different. We have to watch out for the public money. So anyway, since I'm all for inspections, let's have inspections and do it right. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mrs. Jeevers? No?
No.
Okay. Council reports. Aisha?
Yes, so if you noticed, I didn't say anything the rest of the meeting, because I had a council report. So I attended the Environmental Commission meeting. Generally, these meetings are pretty interesting. This one, interesting and scary, so I had to tell everybody about it, of course. We had a great presentation from Tammy Sands at the Stony Brook Millstone Watershed, and she was talking about stormwater management. I can officially say that I know nothing about stormwater management, and I'm just more than a little bit concerned now. So she talked about it in the context of two issues. One in terms of curtailing flooding, and the second in terms of what we're putting in the water system, so water pollution. She gave us some statistics that were, they make sense, but, when someone quantifies something objectively, it's a little bit concerning. So from 1885 to 2016, we've had a 3.45-inch increase in precipitation, which is kind of a big deal. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot, which translates to 576 billion gallons more of water. And what we've also done, though, is increased our impervious surfaces by 70%. So all of this stuff is not going into the ground, so our aquifers are dry. It's flooding downstream and flooding all sorts of other towns. And so we need to be thinking more about how to work on these issues, right? One of the things they talked about, and I thought, what a cool idea, so maybe you guys can think about this too, is creating a rain garden. So it's several different layers and different types of soil and gravel to help water percolate and be cleansed as it goes through into the groundwater. I thought that was a really neat idea. I know our township does a lot in terms of stormwater management with new development, so it's very much front of mind. But the other issue that you pointed out from a water pollution perspective, I had no idea. If you don't pick up your dog waste, animal waste, that E. coli is contaminating our water supplies. So please pick up your dog poo. It's just, a public service to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Jodica?
I'm not sure if Linda mentioned this, but the school budget will have its public hearing at tomorrow's Board of Education meeting, and the board will be voting on the budget as well. Also, I just wanted to add the district continues to reach out to the community with information about school capacity and expansion and assurances regarding school security. The Parking Authority has been discussing in-house ticketing and improvement of the train station area, especially around the Wallace lot. Stay tuned for some interesting developments on this front. Thank you.
Thank you. Virginia?
Okay, again, just wanted to remind everybody that we still have about a week left of early registration for the Waterworks Pool Complex. So if you would like to join the pool, do it in the next week and you'll get a lower rate. Again, it's a great complex. There's a family pool, there's a lap pool, there's a kiddie pool, there are games, there's food, basketball courts, there's a rec deck. It's really phenomenal. It's like a resort over there, so please consider that. West Windsor Community Day, as Marlena had mentioned earlier, is May 12th from noon to 4 at Duck Pond Park on Meadow Road. Admission is free. There will be a petting zoo, pony rides, inflatable rides, mechanical rides, a rock climbing wall, bungee jump, entertainment, and lots of food, plus a few surprises. So don't miss that event. It's going to be fantastic. And then finally, Bike Fest is May 26th. 5 different rides for varying abilities, from 1.5 miles to a whopper of a 40-mile ride. There's a bike safety rodeo teaching the young kids how to ride bikes, and there'll be food and a party afterwards with the DJ. It's also going to be a great event. All of this information should be on our website. Thanks.
Thank you. Linda?
Nothing new to report, but I had spoken with Andrea Mandel, Chair of the Environmental Commission, so that rain garden idea was good. I think it's intrigued everybody to look further into that.
I have nothing to report on the Affordable Housing Committee, but as a footnote to what Virginia just said about Bike Fest, if you want to be a sponsor and you want your name on the T-shirt, there's still time. You can go to the Township website, or you can go to the West Windsor Bicycle and Pedestrian Alliance website and find out how to contribute and advertise. So please do. Administration updates?
I have none.
Then do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
We're adjourned. 8:35, that's not bad.